I guess something to think about here is also going to be the laning stage, right? We had Kezu talk about the Terrorblade against Core Abaddon matchup if both heroes are carry. How does the lane versus lane matchup go? I think Abaddon actually fares quite well in the lane itself. It's more about the later portions of the game where he doesn't do so well. And if he gets to lane against either Phoenix or Dark Willow, Aphotic Shield is just an incredible counterplay to everything the enemy supports have. So I think Kasane, as Effie mentioned, is going to come up big in this game, or going to have to, rather. But I think the conditions are there for an Abaddon. I'd love to see this hero. I don't know about you. I've always loved Abaddon. I think he's an interesting one.
I mean, he's cool for the hype saves, indeed. If he comes in clutch with some good Aphotic Shields, maybe even we'll see some sort of play with a new talent as well, right? They changed the level 10 talent. You now can get an additional HP regen on the Aphotic Shield. Is that something that's going to make it... Are you taking that talent this game? If you're playing Abaddon this
Yeah,
game?
I don't think you should really play that much in your Curse of Avernus, because the targets are kind of hard to hit to begin with, right? One of them is Phoenix, who's probably going to play on the backline. Dark Willow can use Shadow Realm. Terrorblade you don't want to fight head-on. Storm is going to be hard to catch. And then the Magnus will play Blink Dagger backline. So yeah, I think just the Aphotic Shield regen talent could be interesting here and could be helpful. It really is like this is like a discovery phase. It's always so fun to see what ends up being good. And obviously, this patch is of a magnitude that when this tournament is over, we might have an idea roughly of what the meta is like.
No, for sure. The meta could change so drastically over...
Day to day, there's going to be new tech discovered. So a lot of who is going to end up being in the grand finals, or at the very least in the top 3 or 4, will be the teams that are very quick to adapt and get good ideas. Or just the ones that have a Santa head on their Zeus. That might also...
Absolutely, Brian. It's certainly ready here for Frostivus, dressed up in the middle lane.
Sweet.
Interesting to see who's going to be able to get the edge out of this matchup. I mean, with sort of the lane setups that we're getting, there's a certain side expected to come out on top in the early game as one team here drafted heavier for this early stage of the laning.
It's something that BetBoom in general are very famous for, is their laning prowess, and they often draft around it. I think Tundra have done a pretty good job at not drafting significantly disadvantageous lanes. I think Lion plus Lifestealer should do well against any Magnus lane. I think the mid lane of Zeus against Storm, the lane itself is pretty even early on, and then it can get tricky, obviously, if Storm gets ganked when he hits level 6. And the bot lane kind of already covered it. I think both heroes are just going to farm. I think Abaddon as well as Terrorblade will be okay down here. So, yeah, I'm expecting a pretty even turnout here. White one almost getting killed off there, very close, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, it should be fine. It's got a fair set of tangos ready to rely on. At the least, saved in good position here to try and keep both Tomato and Whitemon held back from the lane. Definitely seems to be that they are going to have the slower starts here with the lane setups. Pure and Sage both positioned very aggressively up top.
GPK really bringing it to Bryle here in the mid lane, playing very aggressively on the Storm. This is obviously a matchup that he's very knowledgeable about. This was the overall last pick Storm, and he has played this countless times because Storm has historically always been a counter to Zeus, a very backline-dependent hero, and you have one of the most mobile heroes, if not the most mobile hero in the whole game, playing up against it. And seems to try to take advantage here of just the raw range upside that you have against the Zeus. So, decent bullying, 10-0 against 14-3, so still roughly even.
Could you see sort of Tundra come in with any sort of move to be able to punish GPK pre-level 6? The heroes they have?
Possible for Immersion to make a rotation there, I think, with the Snapfire. I think that's the most likely one. I mean, maybe ideally you want the Lion to come in for the gank. It's kind of close. I think Snapfire's damage is more meaningful in that kill. But in order for the kill to exist to begin with, I don't think GPK can be full health. I don't think Snapfire's use will actually kill him. He might just be able to disengage with all of his, Fairy Fire, with what I'm assuming will be a stick or a raindrop coming out, and just stabilize there. And the other question is, do you have the luxury of leaving anyone alone? I do think you could make a case for leaving Kasane alone for a little bit. I think he's somewhat safe down here, given the Phoenix matchup being this good for Abaddon, but we'll see. Not easy. Bryle being bullied again by GPK here in a really awkward predicament here, standing in the middle of the river.
Yeah, he sort of kept off his own high ground here with GPK blocking him off. He's going to be kept low, but still has stick charges, bottle charge, and the tangos.
GPK not afraid of showing Bryle that he absolutely has a high ground for it. The way he was just standing in the middle of the river shooting him up on the high ground, but obviously Bryle won't know exactly where it is. It's far off to the bottom right, and that will be a hard one to find with Lightning Bolt. You don't want to just throw out multiple Lightning Bolts just in case to try to find the ward, because this mana is your CS. So It's a luxury you don't really have. If you're very sure where the ward is, you can go for one bolt and get that D ward for 120 mana, but start spamming this, like you need 3 or 4 of them, that's your entire pool gone and you're just losing the lane way too hard. So I think GPK is going to be able to keep that ward. 4-minute rune coming up here. See, neither support really interested in helping out much with these ones.
On both sides sort of keeping their hands full here on the side lanes. In terms of the last hits overall, we have BetBoom getting a little bit of an advantage, that mid lane being where the difference really stands out the most. I guess sort of in terms of looking at the side lanes, definitely a little bit of a slower start here for Kasane. As Nightfall, not really showing any sort of pressure being put onto him at all. He's doing absolutely perfect on this bottom lane. Not a struggle at all for the Terrorblade. On top, Pure maybe seeing if he could get in for some sort of skewer back there, but always difficult to do against these. As long as Whitemon holds the stun, they're never really going to get a kill, these two Pure and save. It's very easy for Whitemon to put a stop to any aggressive play.
Yeah, and if you do go for the skewer play, you need to be pretty damn sure you get it, right? Because if you walk in to try to set it up, the punish, like you don't really get a very good trade, right? Lifestealer can get rage off, you can just get double stunned, and even if you survive, you just lose your laning presence. So I'm a little bit surprised to see Pure actually going 2 points in the skewer for that reason. Maybe he saw a kill attempt that we didn't catch, but I was expecting him to just get more points in Shockwave to just guarantee range CS in this lane and recognize that, from my perspective, this is not a winning lane for Magnus. You can get farm, but I don't think you can kill, and I don't think you can match Lifestealer, who's now 30-8 against your own 25-5, so still doing quite okay. But you'd imagine it gets harder and harder as Tomato starts getting more levels. You start coming in for CS, he's just going to punish you with more and more cool frenzy attacks. Lion can go for a little cheeky stun, and you just build it up. And you always have the luxury, as you pointed out, just reserve the Hex. You just don't need to use it, you know? If you just hold it all the time in this lane, it doesn't really feel like there's any kill threat.
Now we're going to see both teams start to draw their attention towards this mid area. Yeah. The 6 minute comes around. See GPK, tricky hero to catch now that he's got the ball lightning online, but also a hero that could play aggressive if he gets set up here from the teammates. We get the stun set up onto save, opening with the stun into the Hex. That'll secure first blood here, rather late on, only 6 minutes in for the side of Tundra. Brial pick that one up. And see if they can look towards GPK as well. He's got just enough mana to close in and pick up the shield rune in the bottle. See if he's got enough mana to play for the kill on towards Immersion. Not quite. Stick charges there. Immersion is going to be perfectly fine. Brial, he'll be able to back up, grab the bounty rune as well, make sure that his mana's in a good spot. But both teams standing up to mid. Tundra, they end up coming out on top in terms of getting what is probably one of the later first bloods that we've actually had here at this tournament.
Yeah, I do really like the rotation though. The choice to bring both supports to the top rune there really paid off. They have a great understanding of what the game state is. Brial isn't 6 yet, Storm is. He's obviously going to go for the rune. If you don't bring the numbers, if that's a 2v2, the Storm might just come out ahead and get a kill. Instead, you completely pile onto the Dark Willow, don't let her play, get the kill. Now, unfortunately for them, the rune was bottom, so they didn't get that, because that could have been a 2-for-1 special, where they also get the power rune for Zeus and really get him in a much better position, but still just getting the kill is definitely good enough to warrant that rotation. Again, because you always got to keep in mind, Dota is always a game of trades. When you gotta, if you're moving heroes around, it's going to cost somewhere else. But the way that Tundra is drafted, their supports have so much freedom, right? Abaddon is very static and very stable down bottom. He's not scared of playing 1v2 if that's necessary. And at the same time, the Lifestealer up top isn't facing a lot of aggression from the Magnus plus Willow. So your supports really do get to do whatever they want. They could, at this point, also play really greedy and start stacking camps if they wanted to maximize, but don't really have the best stack taking heroes. Zeus is okay, as long as it's not the Ancient, right? But it's definitely a consideration that you could just maximize. It feels great to play support when you're not pinned down, you know? The whole map is your oyster right now.
A lot of potential movements. We'll see Immersion return back to the bottom lane. Let me see if they can set something up themselves. We did see earlier just now Kasane on his own pressuring Nightfall very well, but have to be careful with the Metamorphosis here as Kasane starts to back up. Shield at the ready, he's back under the tower. We'll have to keep distance from the wave for the moments whilst Nightfall has the meta up.
And speaking of stacks, definitely something that BetBoom could very well benefit from. You've got Storm, you've got Empower. So, and Terrorblade also, not the worst stack farming here. He's also not the best, but okay.
Top lane, the setups there for the global finish from Brial. It's Pure, taken out, Tundra. Picking up another kill here across the board.
It's going to bring Brial closer to that phylactery. It's going to be a very strong power spike for him. Obviously a great item, especially against Terrorblade, who has very low base health. So getting that extra little bit of spell burst can make that difference between whether he gets off a Sunder or not, or even gets to cast anything, really. I like it here. I don't think we're going to see it upgraded. I know you really want to, but
They might get there.
Zeus
You never know.
probably not in the wheelhouse of the new item, the Conda. Doesn't really seem like the hero that would benefit that much from the attack damage crit. And begs the question, you were testing this a lot backstage. You were like, this is my new favorite item for no reason.
I mean,
So I'm going to test it on every hero.
It's good.
And you found some tech that is really good when you have a couple of rapiers.
Or there's reasonable tech as well. Now, of course, the ones we were testing with, obviously, if you're Rubik and you steal Enchant Totem, it's very nice. You use the Enchant Totem, and then when you press Fade Bolt, you're getting the Conda damage based on your attack damage, which of course is increased by the Enchant Totem. So there's a hefty damage nuke added onto the Fade Bolt.
So let me get this straight. Your idea of reasonable tech is position 4 Rubik spend
This is a
5,000.
mid Rubik.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
we're doing a little bit of a mid Rubik. The enemy's picked Shaky. You're like, boys, I got this. I'm going to play mid Rubik.
I'm going to buy Conda.
You're gonna get the
I'm
Conda.
steal Enchant Totem, and I'm going to play right-click Rubik.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And of course, my personal favorite is definitely the axe. The Culling Blade Conda. Absolutely.
Yep.
Because nowadays, obviously with axe, whether or not you get the stack is determined on if the Culling Blade kills them, and the Culling Blade is a set amount of damage. Now, if you get the Conda and you've got that extra damage on top of the Culling Blade damage based on your right-click, you can build right-click items that increase the damage on top of the Culling Blade damage, and therefore you're doing so much damage, it's much easier to get the Culling Blade stacks.
That is true.
So you can do some sort of Rapier, Conda, axe build, and it's actually good.
The classic axe build.
It is. You're going to be seeing it in your pubs, and if you're not, they'll know now. People are going to start queuing that up
The
right
12,000 gold offensive axe item build.
There's so many wonderful things you can do with Snoop.
I will say, though, I do think there's some cool ultra late game possibilities with this item.
Absolutely. The 5 Rapier Conda Nature's Prophet sits in base, casts Nature's Wrath globally, bam! It's a point target spell. So you get this incredible 3,000 global damage nuke.
Yep. That's one of them. That's one of the really late game ones. The one where your prophet has 5 rapiers.
And even better, Sin, one thing that a lot of people don't know as well, there was some little changes actually in the game files. And one of the changes actually with Phoenix, it changed how Phoenix was labeled. It changed it from a ranged to a melee hero. Do you know why that is?
No.
Because this hero, melee and egg. Sin?
Yeah, so this doesn't really come through so well on audio, but I'm actually just, yeah.
We've got to pause here, ladies and gentlemen. Pause. We should be
Owen.
going
Thank
back
you so
on with the
much.
game soon.
That's great. I don't have a counter joke. I have to admit, I can't stoop to that level. I can't come up with anything equally bad. Oh, well.
Yeah, looks like we've got to pause. I don't know why we've got to pause. I'm sure it's...
A little bit
Yeah, but
decent
probably reading the
coming out.
patch notes. It's a patch note pause, isn't it? It's like, well, I've got to go check what these new items done. We've got some of the new items already predicted coming in on this game. We're getting some Royal Jellies picked up. This, I think you're going to be grabbing this every time if you're playing something like a Storm Spirit. Or honestly, you're probably going to be grabbing this a lot of times on a lot of heroes. It's a lot of HP and mana regens.
So what's the cap on this? You get 50 health, 50 mana flat.
Yep.
And then if it's capped out at 10 charges, you get 20 health regen and 10 mana regen for 10 seconds.
And
So
it takes 8 seconds to build up a charge, so what, that's every 40 seconds. Every 40 seconds you're getting this health and mana boost.
So a fully activated jelly is 200 health, 100 mana. And you have that every 80 seconds.
40 seconds, right?
You get a charge every 8 seconds.
Yeah, 5 times 8 is...
Why 5? Oh, you get 2 charges per time?
Wait, oh, no, it's 10, yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Maths is, it's difficult. They should have included the maths in the...
I'm starting to understand why you like that Phoenix joke now.
Okay.
It's a very...
But indeed.
Such simple minds.
The Royal Jelly. Has anyone else been grabbing anything new? Are we going to see anything else be grabbed? As you said, we might see some sort of build-up with the phylactery on Zeus later in the game. So it's not going to be rushed. He's not going to get it first.
So what's
He'll get the phylactery first.
What's the other new tech? We've got Parasma.
That one's just not as exciting.
The upgraded Witchblade, which nobody's really... I mean, can Storm buy this? You reduce enemy magic resistance when you hit them. That's kind of good on Storm, maybe?
It's pretty good. And what's the build-up? It's build-up of Witchblade.
He does want Witchblade a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, this is potentially a
We
Storm
might
item.
see this.
There could
This
be a
might
Parasma.
be actually the battle of Parasma versus Kanda in the middle lane.
Yeah, just that.
So we're going to
the
find
Kanda
out.
will not be bought. so it will be the battle of Parasma against the
Well, he's buying
hypothetical Ken.
He's buying phylactery. When the game gets to 70 minutes, what's he going to do with the phylactery? He's going to upgrade it, isn't he?
Probably going to
Why
sell it and
wouldn't
get another item.
No. We're going to see it. We're going to see it between
All
the
right.
sides.
What else do we have that's new? We have new neutral items. We've
New
already seen
neutrals.
the jelly.
Oh, that's true. This game, if it gets to the 60 minutes and someone's able to get this unwavering condition,
Unwavering condition. Yeah.
this is a pretty busted game for it. Probably, well, I guess both sides have got some physical damage dealers, so.
I mean, we might get there at some point. It's a really special item because it makes you insanely strong against, for BetBoom's team, for example, it makes you incredibly strong against the Storm, Phoenix, and the Willow.
95%.
But the Terrorblade is going to be having a field day. He's going to be like, you guys are capped at 1,500 health? I'll three-shot you. So, I don't know. That one's a really weird one for me. I think it's going to be very hard to select the right game for it, so to speak, but...
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on with the action. Apologies for the pause. So this game continues.
Yeah, how
Slow
dare
start
you.
so far.
How dare you pause the game?
Yeah, it was all me. 9 minutes in, just 2-0 at this point. Tundra with that lead of gold, 1K advantage.
Yep. Pretty good start so far, obviously.
Yeah, who's happier with this calm start?
I mean, I would say overall, the thing you want to see for Tundra is both Zeus and Lifesteal having a good start. I don't think a Baton in this game needs to have a ton of farm. I think his role is more of a supporting core, which sounds kind of weird, but he's not going to play like super aggressive in your face, go in and hit people as much as he's going to be playing more of a defensive, protect Lifesteal, protect Zeus strategy. And you're seeing him itemizing for it too, right? He's going for Solar Crest. He's not rushing a Radiance or Radiance Midas or something of this kind, right? So he knows his job in this game is protective. And that's why he doesn't require insane amounts of net worth to accomplish that job. Whereas the Lifestealer and Zeus, especially the Zeus, I think, if Brawl was having a terrible game, this is the game where you can just become a feeding. You can just go in a feeding frenzy against Storm. So, very good news for him that he's doing this well. Actually ahead on net worth now against the Storm. Those 2 kills working wonders for him. And the supports are all getting kind of nothing, right? They're just getting levels. Nobody has any meaningful CS. There's not been many big stacks.
No,
A couple coming out, but...
I think the action for the supports is certainly going to kick off once they've hit their 6s. It's still a little bit away from them. At least, what have we got? Immersion, just hit the 5. They're going to go for a smoke up here. Immersion and Whitemon, see what sort of play they can make around the bottom lane. Maybe get a catch onto Toronto, Tokyo, or Nightfall behind the tower. They know that they're going to be farming this bottom line of the map. See if they can get the lead in. Whitemon with the finger at the ready. Nightfall should be burstable between the two of them, but as
Absolutely.
it is,
They
Nightfall...
also have the buffer of Zeus ult really helps with
That is true, actually. Yeah, these 2 supports plus the Zeus ult, that will kill anybody. But Nightfall's playing it smart, farming very, very deep on his safe half of the map, so this smoke will not find them any action by the looks of it.
Well, it might now. Just walked into vision.
He's got backup,
north.
though.
Tower is under attack.
Smoke just about to end.
This is some pretty impeccable timing from Nightfall, given the circumstances.
If he was here, 10 seconds earlier, he'd be dead.
Even 5.
Perfect read, really.
So,
And in fact, from the team itself as well. BetBoom, they'll smoke up in response. They're going to try and jump Kasani. Now they'll turn towards Immersion. GPK's used pretty much all of his mana here to try and close in on this. Immersion's going to be able to back off, and the backup's in. Brawl turns up with the backup of Whitemon. They've got the finger, but it's not enough to burst GPK.
Zeus ult.
There it is. That'll offer up the finishing blow to make sure they take down GPK. Another kill for Tundra.
Biggest one of the game. Getting that kill on the Storm. Keep in mind, both teams rotated for this, but on the side of BetBoom, you also used your Metamorphosis, and now you're not going to be able to use this for any collateral pushing or, you know, either pushing the bottom tier 1 tower or farming a bit more efficiently, because you're still a little bit timid about this area. The enemy heroes haven't fully left. So he's still farming defensively, not going to farm the wave of the tower. Whereas if they were the ones getting the kill, he would also be grabbing this tower creep wave. So losing out a little bit of efficiency too from this. In the meantime, Tomato just completely free farming top.
He is.
So
he's having a great time.
He's building a meaningful advantage against Terrorblade, right? These 2 heroes, generally speaking, Terrorblade will probably be the faster farmer because he can illusion farm and farm wave. But, oh, hang on, he's actually in trouble, speaking of.
He really is. They've got him with a Hex in the silence. There's no way out of there at all for Nightfall. Toronto Tokyo can't offer anything up to save him. Tundra, they're getting all the kills here in this early game. BetBoom, not really able to find a whole lot.
That Kasane skill build, the 4-point Curse of Avernus and 1 point of 3 points of Aquatic Shield, excuse me, being put to good use there. During the Lion stuns, he gets so much attack speed and gets that silence in.
And this tower's gone.
Yep.
Tundra with a really, really good grasp here at this early game play.
This is very solid.
I mean, yeah, even bringing sort of Tomato down to this area, it's now going to be very hard for BetBoom to really get towards the lifestealer when he's able to play between the top and the bottom with the twin gates as this. And to the point where, you know, if you're BetBoom, what are you what's the plan in this sort of situation? What sort of move are you looking to make? Or is it just a case of not trying to make any moves at all and just not getting caught out by Tundra's attempts?
I think waiting for GPK's Orchid is probably the right play, and I think you can make a case for this bottom move being a bit nonsensical to begin with. You were jumping on an Abaddon, who's obviously going to have some sort of protection or at the very least be a complicated kill, whereas you could have been happy to just farm and get toward that Orchid that suddenly opens up the game quite wide, because when you have that, you can solo kill Lion, you can solo kill Snapfire, you can even solo kill Zeus, potentially. Maybe he's too tanky now with all these items he's been able to grab, but just like theoretically speaking, I think that bottom move was not a great one from BetBoom, and it's going to cost them. So yeah, they're playing now, chill, farm up, get this Orchid, maybe play around the Magnus Dagger as well together. But you will have to concede your mid tower. I think this is a good play call to not defend this.
Nightfall, he's going to walk up into this. They've got the combo, they've got the finger.
Oh my god.
Nightfall caught completely by surprise there, stepping up to the high ground, leading the team into what ends up being a rather dangerous spot on the map for him of the position that Tundra were able to set up in. Another kill, 5-0. Tundra, they just keep the action going. They're not indeed. Pure. Yeah. He's aware though. Quick link back away from the wave before they're able to get any sort of connection. Pure will be fine. But Tundra just slowly crawling across the map, getting these kills and keeping BetBoom behind.
They will be gating bottom here. GPK should be ready for this though. It is being spotted out.
So if they want to try and fight this, they do. They're going to go for Bravo. As you said, he's got a lot of HP. They've got the RP onto the three of them. The eggs there, the side skewer, and the rose down as this coming through, crashing through the three of them. They take out Whitemon and Tomato. The Supernova stun catches onto Braille. They'll dive forward to Toronto Tokyo, but the backup's here from Kasane. Toronto Tokyo will have to keep his distance. Kasane, a much tougher target to go for. Pure still watching from the side, maybe considering if he can go for another blink skewer back. Skewer, it's back up now. There's the jump, can't quite get the angle to get the drag back. And
now he's in trouble.
They've got the cookie forward. Kasane, he's in on top of Pure. Is there any assist from Pure? There is. They'll be able to push him back with the fear, but it doesn't matter. Braille's able to reach him with the arc lightning and still get the kill. BetBoom, a decent strike back there with the wombo combo, but not one that Tundra don't come out of with getting a bit of a trade themselves as they take down Pure towards the end of it.
That was such a great setup bottom, though. They were really baiting that to the limit, right? They know what heroes are coming through the gate, or at least have a pretty good idea of it.
They knew Roshan was coming through the gate. You know, they had it all planned.
So GPK jumps on the Zeus, and immediately, this looks bad, right? You're getting Hexed, you're getting Earth Spike, but this RP from Pure just beautifully set up with the TP in. The egg. They could not have cast the spells any better here, I think.
Honestly, it's a bit of a miracle that Braille got out of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
if he dies here too, this is just a travesty, right? But they actually end up salvaging it somewhat.
Yep.
But great play from BetBoom, getting on the board, getting those 2 kills, and putting their RP to good use. This will also, when all said and done, result in the Orchid for GPK coming out. He's hiding it right now with the courier in fog to not give Tundra the information now.
And not too far off from Braille also having his own Orchid, opting to have a bit of lockdown with the silence himself.
I'm not really sure what I think about that here. If that's the way to go about this. Because it gives you this timing window against Storm that's really interesting, where the Storm can jump you and Orchid you, and you Orchid him back, and then you're kind of just looking at each other.
What's up here? Skewer in time. Whitemon not quite able to get in range.
The Orchid is obviously incredible against basically every hero on BetBoom. It is a really good item against their lineup. I just don't know if the longevity of this item on Zeus is going to pay off. Because as always, when you buy this is a glass cannon item, right? It always is. You're putting a lot of gold into an item that gives you nothing defensive. So buying that on Zeus.
They're going to look for Braille.
Yep.
Oh. See if they have enough damage to take him down. It looks like they certainly do with the Orchid. They get him completely controlled between the Vortex and the Bramble. Braille is gone. And GPK, he'll be ready to go again whenever required. He still has that regen rune in the bottle.
I wonder what the perspective is for Braille here of buying this instead of, say, KB, or either going something like Aegis or getting another defensive item like Linken's against the Storm. You know, there's different ways for Zeus to solve the Storm problem with itemization, and he has the gold. So I'm a little bit surprised to see the aggressive approach.
No, for sure, just sort of what to reiterate, right? There was no changes with this item. It doesn't build into anything new, and the item itself still does exactly what it did before. It's not as if there's a different change with the Orchid this patch.
But maybe it's telling about Tundra's mindset here that they want to play aggressively. If you're opting for this over defensive item like the ones I just mentioned, then it feels like you want to be putting it to use, right? So maybe they're trying to get an overlap between this item and Tomato's Radiance, and then they really just want to run at BetBoom and fight them, and their mentality is we don't want to you know, just trade farm, play slow, build up to a strong Zeus for the late game, but rather really get your money's worth right now. So, let's see if they can manage to do that. Interestingly, Kasane is building into what seems to be...
Let's go for the Manta build, right?
Is that worth it here? I wonder.
Oh yeah, we'll see which part.
It looks like he also wants Echo, right? Because this item builds differently now, doesn't it? So,
I mean, he's
I'm just
considering
looking,
he's got a bit of every, yeah.
I'm looking at, yeah, he's getting, okay. Yeah, he's getting the Echo first.
And then he's going to get...
He's going Echo, Manta,
Yep.
no Harpoon. So that a little bit conflicts the thing we were talking about with the supportive approach, right? That he went for the Solar Crest, but he wants to have the offensive capability as well. So he's committing to run that together with Echo Saber so he can just get in there, maybe try to get a fast silence. And obviously frontline for his team provision, which you can technically do with any build on Abaddon, more or less, because you always have that ult to fall back on. Until you're playing against Break, which doesn't really seem likely that BetBoom buy a Break this game until maybe Silver Edge on the Terrorblade, but that's far down the line.
See what Tundra find with this one. I know that Pure, I'll see him cutting the creep wave, but Pure, he knows not to stick around too long. Doesn't even stick around to finish the full wave there, knowing that it's in his best interest to get out of that spot of the map, and he'll completely avoid the smoke. It's a good awareness from Pure. See if they can maybe turn this into some sort of move themselves. They do have the combo ready to go, BetBoom. Same time, so does Tundra. All ultimates available right now. Immersion. Put the high ground position around the gate and save. We'll back off from that. Over in the mid, trying to skewer back on Kasane. Won't get it. Even if it is there though, Kasane not an easy hero to kill. Level 12 now in the Abaddon.
I almost felt like that wasn't even a kill attempt, right? He's just trying to get in his head a little bit and try to force rotation. Or if that skewer lands, maybe Tundra TP in a support or two, and then that's a job well done. You'll also know whether they do it or not with the ward you have covering the mid-tier 2 as Radiant. So just trying to create space, I guess is the right way to put it. Like, just be a distraction, buy time for the Terrorblade and Storm to progress their builds. GPK going to go for the BKB. We're almost at BKB territory as well for Nightfall. So that's when the Zeus is going to start struggling a little bit more to find the impact. Bryle will be going for the Lightning Hands build.
Which, of course, did get buffed with the change to Divine Rapier Cinder, and that's, of course, nowadays Spell Amp as well.
True.
One of the heroes that benefits the most from it. So if it does get that later portion, you've got Bryle as a Zeus sitting in the base with the Rapier and the Manta Shard, sending these illusions out. Not only do they hit hard with the physical, they also hit hard with the procs of the magical.
Well, the illusions don't really hit hard with the Rapier.
No, but there's
But
20,
do.
the Spell Amp, right? Like that's still going to work, right? They're still going to be dishing out increased lightning procs with the Shard.
I know this. I'll get back to you.
We'll see what happens. Just 21 minutes in. I mean, it's a slow game in terms of kills, so if anything, that does, I would say, put us on sort of on track for this one to be a long one. Neither team...
I thought you were going to say it puts us in theory crafting territory. We have so much time.
I mean, there's so many things to talk about. Off to the Tormentor they go. BetBoom. Should be able to take this easily. I mean, we're seeing Tundra go for a smoke up, but they're on the opposite side of the map. It's going to take a long time to get over to this position. Nightfall, as you say, BKB's done. He'll head back to base, get the refuel. Toronto Tokyo nearly dying in that sort of situation, but he's fine. Also hit the 12. He's got his level 2 Supernova ready for the next team fight.
And he just got the shard, so that's really, really nice for him. Obviously, Sunray, this is perhaps not the best Sunray game ever because the nature of the Dire lineup is extremely burst heavy, so you might not have time to heal heroes up when they get Zeus comboed with Finger of Death and Snapfire ult, and even Infest. But the Phoenix Shard in general is just a really good pickup. It's going to find uses. The tankier the heroes get, the better the Shard gets. You'll eventually get to that point. And I'm thinking to myself now, so Zeus Lightning Hands is a really good build against Terrorblade. And this is one of those games where you need to make the decision for yourself. Do you want to counter him or do you want to counter Storm? And he has made the choice to counter the Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tries for a bit of a skewer back there. Going to throw the finger down.
Oh, that's a nice thunder.
He's going to be able to heal up there, and he's perfectly fine, Pure.
Goodness.
And that's kind of the play that Tundra can make. So now it's probably back to farming for a bit. They used Zeus ult, they used Finger. This is when you don't want to force any bad move. Just chill out. And they're going to do BetBoom want to do something. They use Thunder, but they still have RP. They still have all their stuff.
I mean, these sort of defensive Sunders, it's a fantastic counter to the moves that Tundra's trying to make. You know, Tundra want to make this move where they pick off whoever presents themselves first. As long as Nightfall's in position, he's going to be able to help his teammates heal up with the Sunder.
And that's the thing about that move, right? You don't necessarily expect Terribly to be positioned for that. It's
No.
I wouldn't necessarily say that was by design, but maybe just a little bit by chance that Nightfall was farming in the neighborhood and
Sure.
then, we're getting jumped mid. Because generally speaking, Terribly doesn't play around where his other heroes are to try to protect them. He takes advantage of the space they make to farm as offensively as possible. But in that overlap, he was in the neighborhood, so of course he's going to come over and help.
Yeah, very well played by Nightfall.
And that's now a 3K lead for BetBoom, so slowly but steadily now
it
they're just
really
getting
is.
more out of the map. They're running the Midas on the Phoenix, so he's getting a lot. They're running Midas on Willow. The mindset here is very clear from BetBoom.
It is. Oh, it is.
We want to go late game, and we think we're just going to beat. And what probably gives them this state of mind in the game is that they think they have good core-to-core matchups. Terrorblade against Lifestealer is pretty good. Storm against Zeus is very good. So if we match them on net worth or overtake them, eventually we feel like we will just beat them is probably the mindset for BetBoom here. Okay, there's a skewer.
They're going to try and see if they can take out Kasane. Now, pop the borrowed time. Got any further control? They'll drop an RP for this. They know Kasane's a pretty big target, and the kills, they haven't been flying in this game, so why not drop a few ults here to secure an abandoned kill? They even drop a supernova and make sure he dies. They've got the zip 4, they're going to go into the tier 2 tower for GPK. And they're trying to get the grab onto the line, but now he'll turn his attention over towards Immersion. Brawl turned up with the backup, the mana's low for Pure, so they can't dive any further. And a quick kill, and yeah, they're happy to throw everything down onto that poor old Abaddon, and it gets the job done, so.
Yeah, they were close to getting 3 there. So I think Tundra should be... You're never going to be happy to lose a core and get nothing in return, but given the circumstance, that could have been way worse. Nice rotation in there from Snapfire of Immersion to save the Lion as well as get out of there yourself, but it was close.
I'd imagine they want to try and strike back because they do have Finger, they have the Zeus Soul, and now there's no RP, there's no Supernova, so this would be a pretty good window for Tundra to get back to that business of just hunting down and blowing up one of BetBoom's heroes.
The problem is that you don't have a stereotypical vessel for Lifestealer, right? The only hero he can really initiate in is the Lion support. So you need these heroes to connect, and Lion initiating first against this lineup is obviously going to be extremely dangerous. He'll have a hard time disengaging once he's in there. You don't have any Force Staff to get out. You have the Glimmer on Snap that can maybe protect you a little bit on the way out, but if you fail the initiation whatsoever, you're just going to get instantly killed off by Storm. So got to be very wary of how you find the opening, but I agree. It really does feel like the type of moment where Tundra should really be trying to do something here.
Yep, they're going to take the Twin Gate
over.
like
they will. So
see what they can do from this sort of angle. They've got eyes on GPK, but they have no initial catch, so GPK able to get away from this. And now BetBoom's going to have a pretty good idea of what Tundra's going to be trying to go for from this area of the map, so unlikely to find any catch here, Tundra. Now look towards Roche instead, maybe.
not the best lineup for it. Abaddon's pretty good, but it's kind of all you have. Lifestealer not the best carry at killing this. The Snapfire does have 4 in a little shredder, actually. Immersion went for an interesting build here with a 4-2 core. Did get buffed this patch slightly. The little shredder did.
It doesn't look like BetBoom's going to try and make any
This is
move
actually
up
faster
there.
than I expected.
Yeah, it's going pretty smoothly. And obviously with the front line of Kasane, it's a pretty safe Roche. They're not taking any damage, really. So Tundra, they don't find the kills, but they do get, by the looks of it, this Aegis. Now the question is if they're going to be able to get something done with this, because still as the moments pass, as you mentioned, with the fact you've got a Phoenix and a Dark Willow on the other side with a couple of Midases, gold lead for the team does continue to grow for BetBoom, so definitely going to be pressure on Tundra to get something done with this 5 minutes of Aegis that Braal's going to have.
And they're opting to put the Aegis onto the Zeus instead of Lifestealer, which tells me that they're not interested in using this Aegis to push towers. They're interested in using it to fight, because if you wanted to push somewhere, you would probably generally put it on the hero that is putting itself at risk to deal the structural damage, which would be the Lifestealer. But the issue with putting it on the Lifestealer is, first of all, your Zeus is very vulnerable, we've already covered. But even if you put it on Lifestealer, if he gets RP'd and then skewered into the base, in any push situation, or into an awkward spot behind the tier 2, the second life might not actually offer him very much. So, just yep. Seems like just the stable choice, honestly, to put it on Zeus here. I do like that decision from Tundra. This Manta style recipe is so expensive. I'm looking at Brown like, why isn't he buying it? It costs $15.50 now.
Well, what's sort of what this shift in the gold with what kind of having the diadem right instead of the ultimate orb?
Yep.
Makes for that sort of balance change to happen between the purchases. And Tundra, they'll start to show themselves on BetBoom's half of the map here towards the mid. BetBoom seemingly unfazed right now. They're happy to still continue to pick up the farm outside on the map. See at what point they do head back to look for a defense, and how much Tundra are going to be able to get away with pushing for. Kasane, it's up to the tier 2 on the bottom lane. BetBoom still looking relatively chill. They don't seem to be bothered by this whatsoever. They know they're getting the favorable farm right now out of the map.
Yeah, they've got 2 support Midases, and
Yep.
they've Terrorblade. So
Yep.
every rule of Dota is directing you in this direction as Radiant. It's just like, it's telling you this is good. Every opponent in your bot is like,
Tundra.
just farm, it's fine.
Tundra's definitely getting more desperate. They've got to find something. They're going to try here. They're smoked up. They'll get the Zoo Soul here to scout things out. They're trying for the jump onto Toronto Toka, but he's actually able to dive away. Doesn't matter. Brow's there waiting for him. They'll be able to take him out. Pure. He'll drop the RP onto Brow. Nightfall steps up with the BKB and the Metamorphosis, looking for the follow damage to bring Brow down. Brow's still alive. He's going to try and turn and stand his ground. Still has the Aegis to rely on. Pure attempts to chase down Tomato, but he's going to be kited. Tomato's able to back off. Brow finishes up a double. They'll end up with the trade there. And Tundra, well, they'll be happy with taking that one. They only lost themselves to 2 supports. In return, they're able to take out a support and a core from BetBoom. Ryle just proven to be a bit too beefy. We've got most of the RP come in on towards him, but they weren't able to focus down this Zeus.
This is just so clutch from GPK. That Orchid, as Lion is blinking on the Phoenix. Sure, Phoenix ends up dying in the end, but it took them so much longer because GPK got that off. And still, despite that, that's why I think if you're Tundra, you're particularly happy with this result. You ended up, you conserved your Aegis, and given that your Lion didn't even get to play the fight, getting a 2 for 2 there is very, very good. So
yeah, you still have Finger to play with, so still a window in which you can maybe look to continue to be proactive and get even more done with this final 2 minutes of the Aegis.
Tormentor going to the Lion. A potential layer of protection against Storm if you're really clutch here. I know all the memers out there are really hoping for a big play here. Not seeing any plate mails in the quick buy though. It is Glimmer Cape because this guy actually knows what he's doing, so he will buy a Glimmer. And he will get infested upon again. So let's see if there is a potential move coming out. No smoke on Whitemon for now, as there's some Gloves of Haste being delivered for, I'm assuming, yeah, so Tomato, is that a completed item that he's receiving here? It is there a new build up here? Okay, it's the Maelstrom. Now uses Gloves of Haste, so that's completed.
See what Whitemon can find. Coming in from this angle where they expect that BetBoom may be on the vision. Of course, with this gem, getting a good sweep of this area of the map, shutting down the vision that BetBoom have on their own half.
Under attack.
See if Whitemon can get the jump. Glimmering, trying to get in, get the Hex opening. Do they have the burst? Kisses coming in, but the BKB's there. Nightfall's able to sunder over towards Toronto Tokyo, get enough HP back up to stay safe. Pure thinking about the RP, doesn't quite close the gap on Tundra. They'll back away. They put a stop to the move that Tundra was trying to make. They get a kill. They take down Whitemon. They don't lose anything themselves. BetBoom. They were prepared.
Looks like Tundra at the very least recovered their gem there. I was quickly checking if Storm was able to grab that from Whitemon too, but sitting on Tomato. So they lose that 1 support kill, which not the end of the world really. The trade-off here is that you invade and get some good map control for the side of Tundra. You confirm that there's no vision in the enemy triangle, get a more offensive placement on the map, and now the goal for BetBoom should be for Nightfall to start pushing out mid as well as bottom to just, you know, make some breathing room for your own team here. Kind of surprised to see this goal development, to be honest. I was expecting BetBoom to be starting to pull ahead further with these double Midases and the heroes that they have.
Sure. I think that the sort of the fact is that, you know, Tomato's still just farming up fantastic, right, with this Radiance Manta build, cleaning up a lot of the map.
And I guess this, oh, that was a very, very close to catching Pure there with a Lightning Bolt Brawl, by the way, but just barely got out in the TP. I guess Brawl's just going to be farming really fast because he's the Manta,
yeah,
right?
both are.
You're just gonna be ramping up at a good rate. And I guess we'll probably keep coming back to this later in the game, but there's a very high chance that the outcome of this game will be decided largely by the discrepancy in supports, right? If you look at the net worth distribution right now, the Phoenix and Willow are miles ahead of their counterparts on the Tundra side. So there's obviously going to be some key items coming out in that regard. You've got a pipe
Whitemon
on Toronto.
He's tried to set something up here, but GPK comes in with the backup. Tomato will jump out. They'll look towards him, but the RP comes out onto the 2 of them. Pure able to get the grab. Good
Nice,
right, pushing
Pure.
back Kasani, so he can't initially get the save off onto Tomato. Tundra, they have to run, but they're not going to get the chance. The Merchant gets taken down. Kasani's going to go for the TP out, but the fear comes through as that puts the stop to the escape. This is going to be BetBoom taking out the 4 of them. Pure. Brilliant RP on the 2, the push back on Kasane, he just tears that team fight apart.
He deserves those tips. The skewer on Abaddon was really clean there. Very well played by him, finding the RP the moment it's available on the Lifestealer, and shoving away Kasane from being able to help out in any way there, so yeah.
Oh, look at that popping off. Very, very well played. And just like that, the
Purist
net worth
always.
lead starts to sort of reflect, I guess, what you were expecting with these builds, right? We're now seeing 11k gold advantage now for BetBoom. I mean, it just shows sort of how volatile of a position this game kind of feels like it is in for Tundra. They lose a team fight, they get knocked back so far behind.
That one fight doubled their advantage, right? I think they were up about 6 before it began, so really, really important moment for them to find there to get in an extremely comfortable situation here. And keep in mind, the last Roshan was killed by Tundra, right? So this is where we have one of those changes in the game where if Tundra try to sneak a Rosh now, there's going to be a global alert for BetBoom, and this Rosh will be slower. So I believe it's when Rosh is under 80% health, he casts a debuff on the team that's hitting him that reduces their damage by 20%, right? The whole area around him.
9 seconds or something?
Something like that.
Yep.
So you have a lot of time as the team that lost the first Rosh to get there. It's like an extra layer of protection here from BetBoom that they wouldn't have had yesterday, where that might be the path back in the game for a team like Tundra here. Is
Wait, are you saying then there's going to be certain strats where as a team, you kind of let the enemy take the first Rosh?
I don't know if you necessarily do that
But there's maybe less incentive to stop it, to take that risk to stop them from getting it. If you know if they're not going to be able to do too much with that timing, just play for the fact that you'll let them have that one, and then you can get that second Rosh without any sort of complications.
Historically speaking in Dota, the second Rosh is a lot of the time the monumental one, the one that decides the game the most. I'm not sure I would say it necessarily is anymore, but it's definitely not the first one. So if you're the team that doesn't get the first one, I think there's less of a downside to it now because you get that layer of protection for covering the second one. It doesn't mean that killing the first Rosh is bad. It's not like you can't protect the second Rosh, right? And there's also some really interesting fake-out plays where you killed the first Rosh, you go and deal 20% damage to the second one, and then you turn into a smoke, you know? Like, there's going to be some added mind games with this where you can try to pretend knowing that the enemy knows, and it becomes this rock, paper, scissors game. We know that they know that we know, and then nobody really knows anything, right? So
here we go. I mean, BetBoom, they've been playing it pretty calm for now, sort of just reacting right to Tundra's moves. Now it's at a point where BetBoom, they're happy to get active themselves.
They are so farmed on both the Terrorblade as well as the Storm. Storm has the Ags now, the Terrorblade rucking that full-on Daedalus. And the supports are closing in. Save almost has Axe on the Willow, level 18. Phoenix is also level 18.
I mean,
what are the supports on the enemy team?
Fight,
13.
It's going to be so tough for Tundra.
The level discrepancy here is actually enormous. If you bring up the hero level chart, this is very unusual that it looks like this. The two enemy supports for the Tundra side are the same level as your offlaner, and your supports are miles behind.
That's what double Midas on your supports is going to do.
Well, winning teamfights helps too. It's not only the Midas.
Come on, that's not winning.
Imagine buying Midas.
Just buy Midas if you support.
5 levels in 30 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, did Tundra want to walk into this fight? I don't know if they do. You know that BetBoom's there if you're Tundra. Do you really want to approach this?
I think you have no choice, right? Like, I don't think you can just... With how this game developed in the last 5 minutes, I think fighting is the way back into the game. The problem is BetBoom have done a really good job at covering their bases and not getting caught very much. But I mean, you still have to play for the slip-up, right? If you just accept, okay, they're just too good, and then you go farm, I don't think it's a winning strategy in this game. Like, you have to try to catch them off guard, find them in a weak moment, get that lion jump with Lifestealer, and kill a support. Like, jumping and killing off Willow, for example, is a really good fight entry for them. And you can always Zeus ult to cover your bases against the Magnus, right? Unless this happens, he's smoked.
I know what's up now.
Oh, this is really awkward for Tundra.
Sure. Where's he want to jump? He's going to try and get the skewer. Not going to get a catch on that initially. Kasani presents himself at the front of the fight, over to the side. Tomato jumps out. He's going to look to try and take out Toronto Tokyo, but the Supernova's there. Can they finish the egg? They can't. Pure's in with the RP, locks down Tomato. Tomato is gone, as well as Whitemon. This fight, there's nothing left to be had here for Tundra. As they've lost 3, they'll almost certainly lose Brawl as well. He's going to try for the TP out through the rear end of the BKB, but the damage is done. 4 heroes dead. Make that 5 by the looks of it, as Pure's able to get the drag back onto Kasani. They walk into a team-wide piercing.
Look at them just spam attacking him. It's almost like a taunt, you know? They're healing him to full 4 times over. You could have just walked away and waited and taken less damage on Pure, but he doesn't care. He's going to get the job done. 5 kills. It's Roche time, and they will not have the debuff here, so more than enough time for them.
I mean, what do you do? What do you do here if you're Tundra? How on earth do you play your way back into this one? 18k down. BetBoom with the second Roche. It's going to be so tough to keep this game going here for them. We'll see the attempts from Tundra to fight back. But again, just excellently done here from BetBoom as a whole. We see at the bottom of the screen, Tomato, he goes straight towards Toronto Tokyo, but he gets this egg off. Pure's there to cover him, get the RP off onto the lifestealer so that the egg can't die. And yeah, GPK just being a huge nuisance on this backline. The fight is just completely split. It's just unplayable here for Tundra in that sort of team fight.
And I mean, you see this game play out now, and you go back and you think about how the draft went down, right? We were talking about it when the game began. Tundra are running some new tech, and BetBoom are running something that's been proven to be very stable in the previous patch. I was wondering, how is this first pick Lion going to shine? What is this early Abaddon? Are these heroes really that much better now that the experienced teams that know how to counterpick them can't find a solution? It seems like it's not the case, right? We got to jump.
They've got the kisses coming in, but Toronto Tokyo's able to dive for low ground. They kill him! He's still alive! He's able to get away. White Monster wants to die. Toronto Tokyo will finally be silenced here by Brawl as they will eventually kill him off. They also are able to test down the top. There's the Terrorblade the once. Can they do it a second time? Brawl steps back. The BKB's there for Nightfall. Nightfall's going to opt for the BKB TP out, and that will do him well. Gets him back to base safely.
It looked for a moment like BetBoom might have thought about turning that one around. RP was coming off cooldown in 3 seconds, but Storm was out of juice, so let's go back to base. Look, by the way, at this little detail of GPK holding onto the Royal Jelly, right? This is a tier 1 neutral item he still has in the backpack.
So we can slide it in and pop it.
This is like a whole game item for Storm, where whenever you disengage out and you have that natural downtime, you just get that little bit extra efficiency.
That's super nice, actually. Because normally in situations you'd be like ferrying out little casual clarity or something later down the line, but indeed with the jelly
This is kind of an economy item as well, right?
Absolutely.
Does it gain the charges slower in backpack?
It should, right?
It looks like it.
Yeah, it should just have the increased backpack cooldown time, right?
I would think so. I didn't pay full attention because it should be 8 seconds, which means in backpack it should be, what's the multiplier again? I actually don't remember.
What are you asking me for?
You know this. You're the theory.
You know this.
You're the theory crafter. You were spamming every hero with
numbers.
With conduct.
Unless they're big numbers dealt by a 5 Divine Rapier conduct hacks, that is true. But when it comes to Royal Jelly, this is small fry. This is small numbers. We don't.
I don't remember.
But I think, indeed, it should tick up in the backpack, albeit
it felt like
slower.
he went from 9 to 10 charges relatively.
Well, 10 is after 9. Oh, quick. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. He did go to 10 after 9, which is a healthy sign here.
Maybe that's what they were just checking. As we're all good to go. Sound.
It does actually, in case it does get a charge every 8 seconds in the backpack, that's actually quite instrumental for the impact
It's
of the
not
item.
getting it every 8. There's no way. It's definitely going to be slower.
Okay.
We'll see. He's putting it in between. You'll be able to
You're saying
count.
that with so much confidence, I'm just going to believe you're sure and you're right.
Thank you.
We have a potentially dead one of these guys.
Yep.
Pure and Bryle are...
Lincoln's is back up, but indeed he's dead. Quite a big catch for Tundra to find coming back in after that pause there. Pure out for 90.
Pure tried to solo Bryle as Mag there. Absolutely no backup near. He burned the RP. Didn't get there, so... A nice little kill there for Tundra to keep their hopes alive. Maybe a power play in the cards. There's no Aegis. You took that away the last time. There's no RP. There's no Magnus Life. So this 5-on-4 would really love to see them go for some sort of aggressive, at the very least take control of the map and get some aggressive vision out so you can maybe set conditions for a better follow-up fight. But even smoking into a very aggressive move here could be something. But yeah, BetBoom are going to know this, and they're going to play it all the way at the outskirts of the map, down the bottom, even inside their own base on Toronto Tokyo. This Phoenix, by the way, as we talked about previous fight, was a really hard kill. It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
He's got Trickster Cloak, Fight, and Vlad's. 2.2k health.
Yep. I mean, Tomato's pretty farmed, but as we saw in that last fight, he could not take down Toronto Tokyo before the egg comes into play.
And mind you, he could have been way tankier too. He took the other 15 talent. He took the damage one. So he could have had 500 more health on top of this, but...
Well, this is quite something, though. For a team, Tundra, down 14k. They're actually the ones knocking at the doors of BetBoom right now, trying to make the most of the fact that Pure's still out for 20 seconds.
This should probably be the end of it, though. It's starting to get scary. 15 seconds left in the mag respawn. You know that you're always at risk of getting pulled in with the Storm Ags. And just as we talked a lot about GPK and his Royal Jelly, then he
just got rid of it now.
He's had it this whole time until we cared about it, and then it wasn't cool anymore. That's my life in a nutshell, isn't it? Just always a bit too late.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, they got the jump. Have they got the burst? They've got the stone forward. Have they got enough to take him down? Nightfall's going to be able to get out to the side turns. He's looking for some to target. Not going to quite get it now. He will. He's going to be fine now. Back up to pretty much 90% HP. Not quite enough there in the tank from Tundra to burst through this Terrorblade in time.
Yeah, he got off a satanic hit on the melee creeps. He had nobody to sunder at the time. Tomato was in there with the BKB to prevent that, but still did stay alive.
Yeah, they'll back off now, Tundra, after that failed attempt. No need to try and force anything, at least whilst their ult's on cooldown.
All 5 ults for that, so definitely if BetBoom wanted to make a really quick one here with their Metamorphosis running, they could. But again, looking at the big picture for them, probably not necessary, right? Chill out a little bit. You're closing in on big 25 talents. Terrorblade just got the Wisdom Rune there, so he's close to his. We'll be getting that either Sunder cooldown on meta duration. Wonder which one he's going to take here. I think probably the meta duration is the one for this game. Because it feels like this is a game where it's hard to use Sunder multiple times, right? Because of the nature of the burst on the enemy team. But
yeah, but the burst hasn't been killing.
yeah, so then he doesn't need 2 charges.
Yeah, but sure, I see what you're saying. That there's only going to be that initial start.
There's going to be the one go where if he survives and gets the Sunder off, he won't need it the second time.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if that is indeed his thought process.
I think the Sunder talent in general is really strong when you're playing against high consistent damage, because then you're forced to use it and then you'll be forced to use it again. I just don't think, I think when he gets the first Sunder off and stands his ground, we'd rather have the meta duration to capitalize and get a better, like a base push out of it, or, you know, in a really long fight, you extend.
They're going to try and go for another burst play here, potentially. Whitemon. Got Tomato with him. Pressure done on Pure.
Fingers ready again. They have Zeus ult in 15.
I bet Boom, they're playing smart. They know that the cooldowns are coming up. They're keeping up on the high ground. That is not a part of the map that Tundra is going to be trying to throw themselves into anytime soon. So BetBoom should be pretty safe.
Yeah, they're in a very safe position here. This is defensive Dota. Literally 5 heroes huddled around. It will be time to smoke now, though. Yes, they do.
They're going to try. See how quickly they can do it, as they'll take him down, prop that borrowed time. Is there any backup coming from him? There isn't, so it should be a kill. I don't think Kasani's got any way out of this one, as he'll be well and truly dealt with by BetBoom. Kasani out for 85.
Yep, they flat out just called the bluff here, right? It looked like he was baiting, but they didn't fall for it. They just commit everything on him. They see there's no response, and yeah, Kasane was indeed just full-on bluffing down the mid lane, and nobody to cover, so a nice little pick up there. They decided BetBoom don't use too much. They used meta. I guess a decent cooldown, to be fair, but it will be up pretty much around the time of Adonis as well, and I don't think Tundra have any interest in forcing the issue without essentially their frontliner that gives their line of vision together with Zeus, right? You want this Abaddon in the fray, giving info.
See Pure.
Oh, look at what GPK is buying. We were talking about it. It's the one.
Well, the Plasma.
Yep, I forgot what it was called. That's why I called it the one.
I thought you were testing me. Well, I'm glad you self-admitted that it was actually you for the nose.
That's a self-report if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be able to get Brawl out of the base. Gets in with the jump. The BKB's there for the RP to follow up. That's Brawl out. 90 seconds there. A very quick catch from Pure, and of course, with that refresher, he'll be ready to go again if anyone else dares step up here to the front of the defense from Tundra.
And they're going to force the buyback out of him, right? There's no way that they can defend without the Zeus. Nightfall's just going to frontline with a lot of confidence here. There shouldn't be enough burst damage to kill him without the Zeus buyback, but maybe they can do this cheekily where they jump in and get the max lockdowns during it. Let's just...
Oh, Pure! Oh, he's going to try and get the grab, but they've got the finger. The kisses are coming out. This time, Pure won't be getting the grab. But pop the BKB, try and refresh, but the damage for the kisses comes in. They'll put an end to Pure for now. I mean, 95 seconds he's gone. Of course, the buyback did come out from Braille, so something forced him return. But if you look at the buyback situation, and they might know this as well with the fact that he just came up to the fight with a refresher. He doesn't have money himself for buyback. So this is a clean 80 seconds still in which Pure will not be able to play.
That was a bit too cute. At the very least, he got the buyback, like you said, right? So that's a little bit of a band-aid on that situation, but yeah. It's just one of those things where it's going to look great if he pulls it off, but the risk-reward, like, there was no need, right? You could just look at this in the replay and be like, okay, we could have literally...
It was pretty deep.
There's a free lane of barracks, right? You could have taken that lane. You could have probably started knocking on top as well in that time window, but now you took the high-risk route that could have possibly ended the game, didn't do it, and you opened the door a little bit for Tundra to get a potential Roche. Now, fortunately for BetBoom, this Roche respawn will be delayed another 20 seconds.
Okay, we'll see how patient Tundra are for this.
If they scout it as it spawns, I actually think they can kill it in time before Mag gets up here. But you literally need to be in the pit with all the heroes at the right time. Now, if Immersion is scouting it now, the time it takes Lifestealer to get up there from bottom will probably be back up. But obviously, Tundra are not going to be transmitting the kill, because the last one went to BetBoom. So this time the Aegis is... We have a little bit of a switcheroo from earlier.
Let's back up now, see if they check the pit. They do.
Merchant will see it. He's pinging it out. Let's see what the adjustment is. Okay, they're all rushing up there. They really want to do this.
The smoke's coming in from BetBoom.
No really good teleportation point of connection here for the Mag, though.
He's going to have to take the
Taking
long
quite
walk.
a while. He'll probably port on the outpost and then start moving. I guess that port is faster now. It used to be 6, now it's 4.
It is indeed.
So that is one of the big changes.
So it'll be close, but will it be close enough? Roshan already down to half HP. The scan's been hit as well, so Tundra, they're fully aware that this is going to be coming in, and indeed they'll be able to finish this off in time and get the pickups. See if BetBoom still want to try and fight into this. They don't.
That is just huge for them. They get the Ags onto the Abaddon now, so an extra lane of defense for them. And this is late game Dota in a nutshell, right? You make that one high ground mistake on the Magnus at the wrong time. It's one thing to fail the play, but you probably don't have in the back of your mind, oh yeah, by the way, in case I mess this up, we might lose Roche. That's the afterthought that you get to once you're, calmed down in your base for a minute. You're like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have done that at that exact time. And Tundra, high skill teams know this.
They're holding on.
They will take any advantage you give them here, and that was about that one tower dive was essentially 8k gold because of the value of this Aghanim Scepter synth going on Kasane now.
Seeing sort of bigger item pickups across the board as well. What we have here, Kasane trying to
Find a pick.
catch here indeed with the finger. It's an easy one here. The catch out stay.
Okay. Tomato was trying to armlet toggle his cheese. You cannot armlet toggle cheese. You eat the cheese when you armlet toggle the cheese. Unfortunate circumstance where you swap with, you just have this muscle memory, you're armlet toggling and then switching it off, and that was the exact slot he put the cheese into, so just, yeah. Maybe he was hungry. Maybe the Willow wasn't satisfying enough. It was like, there's not that much meat on there, so
maybe you
get a little dessert,
Maybe you didn't read the patch notes and you don't realize that cheese now gives you a permanent damage buff.
Oh. Specifically when you use it after a kill. Otherwise, you could have used it right away.
Yeah, it's like a BM move. It's like a taunt.
Okay.
Back in action here down bottom. They're still looking for more. White Mom. And it's not going to be able. I mean, the Pure is underneath this vision sort of setup.
Oh.
But I mean, these two, they can't really do too much about it. They're bringing in the backup. The rest of Tundra, they are going to smoke over towards this area to try and play around this vision that they've set up. Knowing that here is knowing that Pure is farming this first.
Okay.
They're going to try and get the jumping onto Nightfall. Do they have enough first this time? Nightfall's able to put the BKB. He's able to turn. Stands his ground. Punching in towards Tomato. GPK keeps his distance from Kasane for now. The Supernova's out. Tundra aren't able to finish it off. BetBoom, they hold safe on the high ground.
Every time they try to kill Nightfall, they get within like 20%. Like,
They get close.
You can understand why they keep trying, but the biggest thing here is that Pure is always in position to get that RP off onto the Lifestealer to protect him. It saved him 2 or 3 fights in a row.
Oh, it has.
So they're definitely dependent on it, which means that if Tundra ever find this opportunity with Magnus dead, or the RP on cooldown, or perhaps where you cancel the blink at the perfect time when he's far away, with a Zeus ult, maybe. But yeah, you gotta have the timing down to a T, right? Because Magnus cannot be in BKB and he cannot be in Trick. Oh, well, he can be in BKB. And the Zeus ult's still gonna cancel his blink, right? But if he's in Trickster Cloak, or if he's piped, probably won't be able to pull off the same. But, I mean, still, this game, for all intents and purposes, we could have almost been looking at a new draft.
Yeah.
If this Dire base moved in. Because keep in mind, it's one thing that it failed. That Roche was probably BetBoom's too, right? Given how the game state was.
Yeah, they probably clean up the mid-racks, they back off to get the Roche, they go
Control
again,
the
maybe they
area,
end
find
it.
one pick when the enemy team has to come and contest them on the Roche, and then finish that off with vision advantage. Close call on that Earth Spike. I don't think he actually could have connected anyway, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Pierce.
Pure's just not going to mess around with that one. BKB TP.
Learned his lesson. Arguably he didn't because he was still up there, but,
It's interesting to see, though, you're still the team with 10k lead BetBoom with their favorable amount of farm. They're the ones, for the most part, being kept inside their base. They're having to really respect how Tundra is controlling the map right now.
It's terrifying because your map is dark, right? You have no ward. You have one. Actually, that's not true. You have one lane ward top, but nobody's playing this area right now, so the ward isn't really offering much in the way of information. Now they're finally going to clean up the bottom one here, which I would argue was way more instrumental than their own, because this one was actually likely to find a pick. But Toronto Tokyo will clean that out. Having the confidence to go for it with the Eon disc. You keep looking at the supports here. It's honestly kind of funny looking at the CS. Lion has 18. The lowest CS on the enemy team is 140. The white one's definitely not been looking at the creeps this game.
There we go. So GPK, he's gone for the full purchase, has the Parasma. As a bit of a reminder for you boys and girls at home and here in Kuala Lumpur, it's the upgrade of the Witchblade, and also now
the Witch's Axe.
I guess it is. Is it an axe?
It's an halberd?
Yeah, that's the halberd.
That's a halberd,
That's
isn't it?
definitely a halberd.
I think that's very important that we define whether this is a halberd or an axe.
Absolutely. So, and also what Sirius, you said, with the attacks of this, you're able to reduce the enemy's magic resistance by 20%.
Yep. Really good for him, really good for Willow, really good for Phoenix.
They're going to try and go for this.
Very strong, yeah.
Smoke up outside of the base. See if Pure's able to find the jump. Scan hits on the high ground. They're going to go down the wall.
Oh!
Thinking about trying to get the drag back on towards the Snapfire, and he'll get it. Immersion. It's going to be able to live for now. They get the shield off towards him, and he gets dragged back by the Vortex. He'll fall. They'll pop the Supernova. The stun control down the Tomato. Tomato completely trapped underneath the egg. 3 heroes dead on Tundra. They have to run. Kasane will put the borrowed time, but pretty much the entire squad of BetBoom will be chasing him down. Refresher or pop by Pure to get the secondary skewer back on towards Kasane. There's no escape for the Abaddon. They'll get the 4.
Just a GPK show. That fight, honestly, just completely clean, right? So they get the offensive ward out. I love the way that BetBoom set that up. They ward the high ground. They see this little sliver of Snapfire, and they jump on her. Honestly, that was a bit awkward for Pure because he undershot the blink, and then he had to reposition. He was like, am I RPing, am I not? He kind of pump faked it out and eventually found the skewer. So you're seeing it here. Place the ward, RP cancel.
I mean, that was good reaction.
And then he's like, okay, I can still get the skewer, saving the RP here.
Yep.
Which is really valuable because now he's going to have it twice over for the lifesteal if necessary. Only needs the 1 though. Gets it off during the Supernova. Just too easy to shut down Tomato here.
I mean, they just
and in the off-screen, GPK just killed both supports, right? Like, he killed the Snapfire and then he jumped down and killed the Lion. Both of them just completely negated by this one hero.
I'll make sure.
Arguably that refresher not even necessary there because the Vortex from GPK was ready again. A little bit of miscommunication potentially, but not the biggest of deals.
Already seen the buyback have to come out here from Kasane as BetBoom back to approaching the high ground of Tundra. Of course, this was the area where it did start to go a bit shaky after a bit of a dive last time. We'll see if BetBoom make a bit of a different approach here on this one. And Pure.
Okay.
And to be able to get the BKB dragged back onto Brawl. That's Brawl gone. Buyback comes out from Tomato. We'll see Brawl hold on to it for now. It looks like Tundra, they're going to immediately look to get aggressive. Whitemon, he's got Tomato with him. So if they can get any sort of catcher on the retreat from BetBoom, they're going to go for Toronto Tokyo. The turn into the Hex. Do they have the damage? He's down to half HP. He's easily able to dive away. They didn't have enough. Toronto Tokyo's out of there. Pure. He'll skewer away for now from Tomato. They'll continue to back off here, BetBoom, not allowing Tundra to grab anything despite their best attempts there with that immediate chase outside of the base off the back of Tomato buying back.
It's just look how much of a difference it makes that the supports are this rich, right? Like, this is a support position.
He's not dying.
It's a position 5 Phoenix that didn't die to the enemy in Fest Bomb minute 50. And he didn't have disc ready. He still didn't die. The disc was on cooldown.
He's only died 2 times this game on the Phoenix. Toronto Tokyo having a very, very good time. And 30k lead now. The numbers starting to get pretty insane here for BetBoom. They will, though, however, settle things down once more. Roshan, we'll see when that's going to be coming up. It's going to be 2 more minutes on that one. But very likely that we may see BetBoom hold back, look for the next Roche, and then look to go for the killing blow.
Not a shard that feels like it's going to be making a meaningful difference here, getting that upgrade to the Fire Snap cookie. Then again, was there any that really would have? They already have the Lifesteal one. Tomato bought that one. The Open Wounds, they have the Lion one that they got earlier. Zeus bought his own. So it was, actually, it was only Snapfire that could get it. The other ones already have it, so there was no RNG involved here.
In terms of pickups as well, Nightfall, it's just being able to grab himself the Agonyms. Something else that's going to cause issues when these heroes of Tundra are trying to hit something like the Supernova. They're just going to get caught in this sphere. There's so many ways for them to protect the egg and make sure that Toronto Tokyo continues to have excellent presence in the team fights.
And this axe has actually been changed this patch. It follows you.
Yes.
So if you
pop it and like blink in or do
something. Pop it, blink in. Yep. In the past, you would blink in, then pop it, and it would be around where you are. But if you just keep moving around, you're just fearing people in your wake as you move, right? So really, really powerful for the Terrorblade. Combine it with the Swift Blink for the movement speed. You just blink in, you pop this, and you just run through the enemy team and fear all of them. Give vision, set up your team for success.
Tundra, they're going to try and take a fight here by looks of it. 4 versus 5, Kasane. He's going to get caught. Do they really want to go for this? I mean, the jump's already been made to the back line.
Oh, GPK and BKB!
Just on the finger. Have they got it at burst? The cookie's not going to be in time. GPK is able to put the BKB, get out of the side, finish off Kasani. Kasani now dead for 2 minutes. Bro, he's TP'd over into this. I don't, Tundra, do they really want to still try and fight this 4 versus 5? Pure's BKB soon to come down, but Nightfall blinks in, pops the BKB. Tomato's going to turn his attention towards Pure. Can they bring down this smash as Pure pops the refresher? The RP's there to control Tomato. Pure's able to step back. It's going to be Immersion left behind. That's the lifestealer out of the game. Bryle's gone. They don't have the buyback here available on Tomato. They don't have it on Kasani or Immersion. BetBoom, they should be able to run it down a lane here and potentially end things. Only going to be Whitemont and Bryle left. Bryle, the only one with buyback. As BetBoom, they're ready to approach the high ground once again.
And if that fight doesn't prove it now, I mean, it's definitely official. Tundra have damage issues. They caught GPK without BKBing, and they still didn't kill him in Hex and Earthspike with 3 or 4 of their heroes. They just don't have enough in the tank. The fact that he gets to escape and get away with murder there is, yeah, that's just the final nail in the coffin, you know. If they're not gonna kill the Storm there,
And
it's over. Not happening.
It is over. GG is called. BetBoom will take this game.